Welcome back to another edition of the Course Creation Incubator podcast. I'm your host, Gina Onativia, here to give you the tools to help you build up the online course-based business of your dreams. Not just to put an online course out there, but build up your business for the long term. And that is exactly our theme today, talking about the long haul, playing the long ball, and not just grabbing what's immediately in front of you, but pacing yourself, because you know that something is even greater if you just give yourself a little time. I'm going to walk through 3 areas where I really want you to focus on the long ball for long-term success. And this will be a bit of a rant, a bit of a workshop, kind of hybrid episode. But before I dive in, I just got back from our annual adventure to the East Coast to see my family. Typically, we go to Miami once a year to see my hubby's family, and then New York, the Northeast, once a year to see my fam. This time we had the opportunity to see multiple friends and family members, and I'm going to say it was awesome. I saw my best friend Jenny in Philly. Then we went up north to New York to see my brother, my adorable nieces, my parents. I saw cousins I haven't seen, in decades. And then we went further up north to see my dear friend Robin, who I've known since my Tony Robbins days. So it was about filling my cup. I felt my soul was filled seeing my friends and my family, and particularly my girlfriends, because there's that connection. They know me, right? We can just talk like we haven't been apart for a couple of years or a few months. And they've shown that brain connection, right? That when you connect like that with family, with friends, you have a healthy brain, you have a healthy body. So I really feel like I filled my cup, and I hope you're filling up your cup, and I hope you're recovering and allowing your brain to rest in a really great way so you can come back to course creation even stronger, even better. So now that we've talked about that recovery and filling your cup and filling your soul, let's talk about today's topic and looking toward the long term. And oh, by the way, make sure you subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss one episode. If you've been listening lately, I've had some incredible guests, if I say so myself, on here. Trina Little, Bo Eason, Molly Rose Speed, just really great ones. And we have more in store. And of course, my rants and my workshop episodes. So make sure you're subscribed. Leave me a review if this has left you any kind of impact on your course creation, your marketing, or just building up your online business. All right, time for the rant. So I get back from vacation and I haven't been checking my Instagram for about a week. And I see I've got multiple messages in there and some of those hidden messages. And it's the typical stuff. Hey, Gina, can I help you with your leads or your video editing or get your podcast out there? And I ignore them because I've been ignoring my Instagram, and I tend to ignore them anyway. But now I see folks are getting more aggressive. They comment on your posts, on my post, and they say, hey, check your hidden requests. And they sound annoyed. Like one guy's like, hey, it's been 3 days, lady. Have you checked your hidden request? Excuse me. So it's already annoying that they're in my DMs, but now they're reminding me of my posts. This, guys, is not great marketing. I see it on LinkedIn too. Like maybe not as aggressive, like Instagram, it's another level. But LinkedIn, they follow me and then there's an offer. Like they message me with an offer. Like, hey, I'm going to build your business. I'm going to boost your sales, boost your leads, etc. This is not the way you grab someone's attention, right? That's not the way that you get someone to know, like, and trust you. So if you think about this in the dating world, if you just ask somebody out for a date, which is kind of what they did, right? By following me or commenting on something, and then immediately went in for the kill, right? Will you marry me? You would run for the hills. You'd be like, there's no way. This person didn't take the time to court me, to love on me, to take me to nice dinners. That's the way to my heart, right? And it's the same with marketing, with online marketing. We need to show people and give them time to love us, to first know us. Like these guys aren't giving me, and there's girls too. I'm not saying it's just guys. Guys and girls are not giving me time to know you and to ultimately like you and trust you. They're not giving me that time at all. Bo Eason was on a couple of weeks ago talking about how that trust factor has been completely eroded. And to ask for somebody's trust off the bat, it's just not a thing these days. You really got to work up to it. So I know you guys are getting these messages too. You're probably laughing as you listen to this, hopefully. So I want to talk today about what to do instead. Don't do what these guys and gals are doing. This is what to do instead. You want to play the long game. So let's break it down in terms of 3 categories. Long ball in terms of social media, your email nurtures, and then ultimately your launches. So let's start with social media because I just ranted about it. And the best nurture on social media is the long game, taking the time to do it. It's not going to happen overnight. Course creation, you guys know this, is not an overnight thing. We talk about this all the time. If somebody tells you it's overnight, by the way, then they're full of it. Okay? We're in training. All right? We're in training for the long term, for the half marathon, for the marathon, whatever is needed. So in terms of social, here's what I think is an effective nurture. Let me give you guys an example. I had somebody DM me, and I have people DM me. I love when you DM me, by the way, about how much you love the podcast. Please tell me on LinkedIn or Instagram, or give me critiques too. Give me coaching and feedback. But I do love when I hear the impact that this podcast has made on you. And then that helps me figure out what the shows that really resonate with you. So DM me, let me know. And this expert DM'd me. This was, I think, a few weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago. And she said, I really enjoyed listening to the podcast. And she mentioned specific episodes. She mentioned excerpts from those episodes. I could tell she was really listening, right? Like she's a legit listener and not just somebody who maybe listened to half a podcast and then reached out to me. And I responded to her. I said, thanks for listening. And then she left me a review. I think there's a couple days later, she left me a review. She let me know, by the way, also, if you leave me a review, please let me know. And she left me a review. Then in a couple of weeks, she said, hey, I'd love to be on your podcast if you're taking guests right now, which I thought was really, really respectful and awesome. And I said to her, well, we're not taking guests right now or in this specific genre, but I'll put you on the list for next time, like a spot opens up for her topic. And I think she might have emailed me again, like to follow up. So like she did the DMs, then she emailed me. And then lo and behold, I said, hey, we could use this topic, and a spot opened up. And I remember her because she left me a review. She was so awesome. She told me like about podcasts that she liked. And I could tell it resonated with her. That's playing the long ball, guys. So it starts with a couple of DMs spaced out, email to follow up, and then you get your call to action. So in her case, her long ball was to eventually get on the podcast. And it happened because she took the time to nurture him, right? So I got to know her. I got to like her and trust her and say, hey, she might be a great guest on this podcast. So my question to you is, how can you model that behavior instead of these guys and gals who are like hitting me up right away? So if there's someone you want to work with or collaborate with, this is on social, start with looking for how you can support them. Can you like their content? Comment on their content, offering value, right? Offering something smart and intelligent and of value. Can you share their content? Leave a review. Look for ways to stand out by contributing in a positive way. Then maybe reach out to them with a positive note. This could be a DM, letting them know what you love about their work with specifics. Then maybe reach out to them with a positive note. This could be a DM, and let them know what you love about their work. The key here is you need to be specific here, okay? Give them, like I was saying, I could tell this one expert had listened to the podcast. Don't just copy and paste a generic message. That's how you start a conversation, and folks, other experts start to notice you. Then over time, that's where you can take that next step with a call to action, but you want to start by building a relationship. All right, that's number one with social. Let's talk about nurture emails a little bit. You're nurturing them with added value. We know this, right? 80-20 rule, 80% free, incredible added value, love, 20% asking for the sale. I want to make sure, some of you, by the way, are not asking for the sale, and that's another podcast. Please ask for the sale. Please make sure you're doing your 20%. But I knew this one course creator, this is before I started working with her, and she just hit offer after offer in her newsletter. She had a newsletter that came out twice a month, and there wasn't enough nurturing. But again, just like we learned in our social media portion of this podcast, people get to know you and like you and ultimately love you. You've got to get to that status where people are saying, oh, I love her, I love him. What do you got? And they're just ready to put down their credit card because they trust you and they know that the value that they're going to get from you. You want to get to the point where it's a no-brainer for people to buy from you because you're providing so much value and love in terms of content or access. Maybe you're doing more Q&As or you're going live, or you're saying, hey, email me and I'll make you a personalized video. So whatever it looks like, you're giving them that extra love. You're going that extra step or that extra mile. Now, sometimes folks are worried that if you give away too much for free, no one will buy. And it's just not true. You don't want to overwhelm your audience with free content, but when you consistently offer value, they want to learn more from you. They want to open their emails, see what you're sharing, and then when it comes to a course, they want to learn about the course and take that next step with you. And another thing to remember is that you're not creating free content just to create free content. You want to make sure your content is aligned with your course and what your audience needs. And that way, your program becomes an easy next step for them to take. I'll link to some episodes I've done about content where it drives to the next step. It's not just free content for free content. And then the third part I want to address is your launch. Because I think sometimes with campaigns, we think shortfall. We think, oh, I've put my course out there for 5 days and I've only have 2 students. I'm done. I'm ruined, Gina. It's a mess. But we're playing long ball with the campaign, remember? So if your campaign, if your launch runs 10 days and you're only 5 days in and you have 2 sales, you've got 5 magical days to go and people need a deadline. Your potential students need bonuses. They need you urging them and telling them this is the best thing ever. You've got to get it. Trust me, they need reminders. So I want you to get your heads in the game. And I'm doing a lot of sports metaphors, yes, because we watch a lot of tennis and World Cup soccer. You got to get your head in the game and think about, what do I need to do next to get these people to the long ball? You're going to launch your regular intervals. You're going to continue to get your feet wet. You're going to stack how you do your launches. Maybe you start with a grassroots launch. We've talked about this on the podcast. And you add webinars or another selling system to it. It's the long ball. You're not just going to put your course out there one time. And I think sometimes students, my students, think, oh, I did the course. I put it out there. I only got 5 students. I'm done. It's not true. You're going to launch it again. You might do it in a different way. You're going to do it in front of a different audience. You're going to get creative. You don't give up. Maybe you extend the launch. For those of you listening right now, and if you're launching, you're not getting the numbers that you want, extend it. Push it back. Push back your start date. Or if you're going live, push back that live start. You have flexibility. Don't be afraid to get creative, because that's what it takes to play the long ball, right? It takes creativity. I personally think one of the reasons so many businesses fail is because folks are looking for the quick win and quit when they don't see immediate results. The business owners who do succeed are those who are committed to figuring it out and they keep going, even when things don't look like they're working out. So I think that ties into this mindset that you're looking to build a sustainable business, so you need those strategies that support you for the long haul. All right, to wrap up this third portion, remember that each launch is a learning experience. As Jalen Hurts of the Eagles says, you either win or you learn. So sometimes you'll hit your numbers, sometimes you won't, but as long as you look at each launch and are open to learning how you can make the next one better, you're going to succeed. Along with this, remember that you have your launch plan, but you should also be open to a plan B or other things you can bring to hit your numbers. So maybe it's offering an extra Q&A call or a payment plan or a new bonus or a bit of a personal outreach. Hopefully this has stirred you in some way. If you want to nurture me and love on me, hit me up on Instagram, leave me a review. That would be the highest honor, actually, when you leave me a review. Let me know if this podcast has made an impact on you. I'll see you next week with more course creation and marketing insights. Until then, go create, be you and be brilliant, and get it done.